Mr. M-O-M-E-N-T. She prays she never miss a moment. M-O-M-E-N.
Let's talk about Michael Thomas and what happened to my nigga, man. That nigga Michael Thomas was like that, bro.
Good receivers have been known to fall off the map sometimes. But what about the best ones in the league?
Breeze throws on first down. It's Thomas. That's number 141.
What Michael Thomas Offensive Player of the Year, bro?
Marvin
What happened?
all-time record.
There he was, closing in on a record. Now, we can't even locate him. The football gods were partially to blame. But why, after he was so dominant, would he further sabotage his own career? Michael Thomas didn't need time to get broken in. He exploded onto the NFL scene right away. He did something only one rookie had ever done before. But Thomas did it in a far more impressive fashion. He first gained attention at Taft High School in Woodland Hills, California. As a senior playing for the Toreadors, he had 86 receptions for a state-leading 1,656 yards and 21 touchdowns. The Golden Boy of the Golden State was a four-star recruit, but he had to spend a year at Fork Union Military Academy to improve his grades first. This 1 year at the military academy would also give him the discipline he needed. After Fork Union, Thomas went to Ohio State. An unimpressive freshman year led him to being redshirted in 2013. In 2014, he served as a backup, but then worked his way into a starting spot. He ended up with 54 receptions for 799 yards and 9 touchdowns that year. 2015 was more of the same. 56 receptions, 781 yards, 9 touchdowns. Thomas had turned himself into a serious NFL prospect. NFL teams liked the size of the big receiver, 6'3", 212 pounds. But his 4.57 40 time and 35-inch vertical didn't make him stand out athletically at the position. Though he did slip in the draft, the Saints selected him in the second round with the 47th overall pick. Thomas quickly earned the starting wide receiver role as a rookie. He also had the legendary Drew Brees throwing to him. 2016 saw Drew Brees lead the league in both completions and in yards. Michael Thomas was a big reason why. He was catching everything thrown his way. In his first 2 games combined, he had 10 catches from only 11 targets. Brees took notice of his efficiency. In Week 3, he got his first career touchdown. November 6th against the Niners was his first 2-touchdown game. November 27th against the Rams, Thomas had arguably his best game yet. 9 receptions on 10 targets, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a win. A theme was developing. If the ball was thrown in his vicinity, he was going to catch it. He capped off his rookie season with another excellent game. 10 catches, 1 touchdown, 156 yards. He was stronger than corners, had elite body control, and reliable hands. Everyone was putting him in their top 5. Even Uncle Keyshawn.
So I'm going to put him at number 2 with that nepotism. Yes, alive and kicking.
Thomas finished his rookie season with 1,137 receiving yards, which was second most on the team. His 9 receiving touchdowns led the Saints, as did his number of receptions. In fact, Michael Thomas's 92 receptions was the most a rookie Saints receiver ever had in a season. But that's not all. Those 92 catches were the second most receptions by any rookie ever in a single season. The most came courtesy of Anquan Boldin with 101. But Thomas's 92 catches came on just 121 targets. Boldin's 101 came on 165 targets. 44 more for just 9 extra receptions. Michael Thomas caught 76% of the passes thrown his way. For Boldin, it was 61%. No rookie had ever put up these numbers with such efficiency. So where would he go from there? Well, in 2017, Thomas built on his success. 104 catches on 149 targets, catching around 70% of balls thrown his way.
2nd and 4. There's Breeze. He's going deep. Over the shoulder. Caught by Thomas, and the feet are down.
It was the most receptions a Saints receiver ever had in one season. His play was huge to the success of the team. They won their division, entering the playoffs as the 4 seed with an 11-5 record. They played Carolina in the wildcard round, winning 31-26, where Thomas had 8 receptions for 131 yards. They played the Vikings in the divisional round, but despite Thomas's 7 receptions for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns, they lost. But Thomas's impact on the team was obvious and not slowing down. In 2018, Michael Thomas set another record on top of his 1,405 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. The 125 league-leading receptions on the season was not only a new Saints record, it was also the 5th most receptions anyone had ever had in a single season at the time. 125 catches on 147 targets. He caught 85%. Thomas was instrumental in the Saints' success, going 13-3 and locking up the 1 seed. They beat the Eagles in the divisional round and were robbed of the win against the Rams in the NFC Championship. Michael Thomas.
Wait. They locked up the 1 seed and they played in the division or the wild card? I thought he said wild card. Am I tripping?
Success, going 13-3 and locking up the 1 seed. They beat the Eagles in the divisional round.
Oh, yeah, I'm tripping. I thought that nigga said wild card. I was about to say, what? I'm bugging. All right.
And were robbed of the win against the Rams in the NFC Championship.
Wait, is this the game y'all got fucking robbed of that PI call? Wait, this is that game?
The Eagles in the divisional round and were robbed of the win against the Rams in the NFC Championship.
And then the Rams got fucking blitzed by the fucking Patriots. Oh my lord.
Thomas could have made history in the Super Bowl. Instead, he made history the next season. Can beat. Michael Thomas led the league in receiving yards with 1,725, which was the 7th highest total at the time, but we don't even care about that. Through 14 games in the regular season, he had 133 catches. Heading into his second to last game of the season, he was 10 behind the all-time record for receptions in a season, held by Marvin Harrison since 2002. His last 2 games were against Tennessee and Carolina. Will he get enough to break the record? Against Tennessee, New Orleans was down 14-0 early. They needed production, so they went to Thomas early and often.
Breeze on 3rd and 4, throws, and Thomas makes the catch for another first down.
The teams were back and forth all day. Thomas kept grabbing passes and giving New Orleans much-needed first downs. The Titans scored in the 4th quarter, only trailing 31-28. New Orleans needed to put this game away. And with 142 receptions on the season so far, they asked Thomas for more.
Hill on first down. Hill throws, and that will tie the all-time record.
He tied the record, but the Saints still needed to win this game.
Breeze looking his way, and there it is, a new NFL record.
144 receptions, a new record. And a couple plays later, the Saints got him a touchdown for good measure. They won 38-28. Big thanks to Thomas's 12 catches and now 145 on the season.
Why I can make a great argument for Michael Thomas as the MVP in the NFL. All right, he's going to get to the number that cuts through the clutter.
Next week, Thomas notched another 4 to make it a total of 149 receptions in a single season, a new record. It seemed like he was just getting better every year. And though they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs, Thomas and the Saints seemed to be on a great upward trajectory. But surprisingly, that's when it all went downhill. The problem for Michael Thomas may have been that from that high up, there was nowhere to go but down. But who knew how far down it could go? Week 1 of the 2020 season, the Saints were beating the Bucs handily, largely due to their defense getting 3 turnovers. At the end of the game, the Saints were trying to run the clock out, and Thomas was in to run block, when his own guy crashed into him from behind, injuring his ankle.
Well, MJ, what we have just learned is that Saints star receiver Michael Thomas's high ankle injury is worse than originally believed. The expectation now is that Thomas will miss at least the next several weeks.
The best receiver in the game, out on a play he shouldn't have even been in. Thomas was fighting to get back as soon as he could, while the Saints lost their next 2 games without him. Thomas was soon back at practice, trending towards returning for their Week 5 matchup against the Chargers, only for him to be ruled out of the game, but not from the injury. He was suspended for disciplinary action after getting into a fight with teammate C.J. Gardner-Johnson at practice, and also talking back to coaches. But he'd be back for their 6th game of the season, right? Nope. The ankle injury still plagued him, which then resulted in a hamstring injury. Thomas missed
Lord.
another 2 games. He finally returned for the next matchup against the Bucks. He was a factor with 5 catches for 51 yards, but would he be able to get back to his old self? Or would the injuries get to him? Well, he followed that game up with a 2-reception game, then a 100-yard game, a 4-reception game, then a 100-yard game. His tender hamstring then caused him to miss the last 3 games of the regular season. Finally, during the offseason, it was confirmed that surgery was required. But for some reason, Michael Thomas delayed the procedure, and his team was not happy about that.
There's a dispute over whether he should have had the surgery sooner. Sean Payton's been public about his opinion on that, and I think they're having an argument about that. But I don't think we should jump to the conclusion that that means he's out of here and he's going to get traded. I think we need to give this more time and see how it plays out.
The late surgery led to a delayed recovery time and more setbacks during that process, so he missed the entire 2021 season. But that happens to football players. It just means they have to work hard on their rehab and focus on their return date. Thomas was there for the Saints season opener in 2022, and through the first 3 games, he had 16 catches on 22 targets for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looked to be finally back, but in that Week 3 matchup against the Panthers, Thomas dislocated his toe. He needed surgery once again, and once again, he was out for the rest of the season. He returned for the 2023 opener and looked solid at the start. He wasn't in his usual form, but with time, he could be. The first 6 games of the season, he had 31 receptions for 329 yards. However, he still had not scored a touchdown until Week 7 against Jacksonville.
Carr to the end zone. It's Thomas reaching for it. Is he out of bounds or inbounds? Touchdown is the call.
It was a beautiful catch. The concentration, the body control, the ability to get his knee down. But unfortunately, it was likely his last one ever. On Friday, November 10th, he was arrested for battery and criminal mischief. A couple days later, Thomas was playing against the Vikings, where he suffered a knee injury.
When the fuck did he get arrested? I did not know that.
So he missed the rest of the season again. But now, it wasn't just the injuries. It was also his behavior. He had issues with Sean Payton and other coaches. He already had an altercation with a teammate. Now he had one with a civilian. He was going to serve a 1-game suspension for Week 1 of the 2024 season. But the Saints released him before that anyways. You haven't seen Michael Thomas's elite play in a while because of injuries, his behavior, and now he is a free agent. No team has picked him up. He's most recently been trashing Derek Carr for Chris Olave's concussion. He went from future Hall of Famer to Monday morning quarterback. He used to terrorize defenses. Now he is sharing his thoughts on the internet like everyone else. Michael Thomas's reception record may never be broken. Either way, he'll always be remembered. Thanks for watching. If you liked our video, be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos on the screen.
Mr. M-O-M-E-N-T, she prays she never miss a moment.